This video covers how to update the firmware in a Hinkspix Pro version 1, 2, or 3. Your Hinkspix may look different. The location of the SD card, if you have one, would be located typically right here. To remove the SD card, you don't pull it out, you push it in, it will pop out, and then you can grab it. The SD card must be 32 gigabytes or less. If you have a SD card that's above that, this controller is unable to read that. Hence the warning 32 gigabytes or less. See our website for the specific requirements for the SD card as it has requirements beyond that for playback of sequences. Alright, then the other item you need is we need to be able to put the firmware onto the SD card, and usually you'll have some sort of adapter. If you purchased a Core controller with a SD card, it came with a USB-A to microSD adapter, and you simply just slide your SD card in here like that until it's fully seated, and now you can put that into your PC. Alright, so let's go ahead and switch over to our PC. Now I have navigated to joehinkle.com/firmware, and there is a firmware file here, right there. I'm going to go ahead and put the SD card into my computer, and I get a little beep on Windows and the file shows up. You can see that the USB drive in this particular case is D. I can see it down here. And so what we need to do is we need to download the contents. So I've just clicked to download this. This downloads the file. And when we're done, we end up with a zip file. A zip file is just a collection of additional files that are compressed into one single file. I've opened that zip file and you can see them all here. Now what I can do is simply just select them all, the entire contents. Each one of these files is a different file for different parts of the controller, and with my mouse just left drag that down to the USB drive right there. Now you can also right click and say copy and then go to a location and then paste it. Of course we obviously already have these and they're not going to replace them. Alright, so now we have the contents of our file onto the SD card. Now, if you have additional sequences or shows or configurations or other data on the file on your SD card, it will not affect that. What will happen is the controller is going to read through these files, realize that they're SD card firmware updates, and it will then process the SD card update if the firmware on the SD card is newer than the firmware on your controller. If it is not, it will not process the files. When it does process the files, it will delete all of your files, excluding this Hinkspix firmware info file. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove the file, or SD card, and go back to our controller. Alright, so here's our adapter. We've got our SD card, and we're going to go ahead and slide it into the controller. The controller will typically have a reset button. It'll be surrounded by a circle, and just go ahead and press that reset button. The controller will go ahead and reboot, and after a countdown, we'll allow you to go ahead and update this. Now, if you ever get any kind of thing that says emergency firmware, go ahead and perform a factory reset on your controller. You've entered a menu that is not necessary. Okay, we saw that on the screen there. It did update the firmware. It's now programming the controller, and so this will go through the entire process of updating, and this process can take a short period of time or a long period of time depending upon how many of the CPUs need to be updated. And whenever it's done, your controller will complete its final boot and you'll see the IP address, or you may see your show indicating that it's running and it is now complete. And that is the process for manually updating your Hinkspix Pro controller via SD card. If you ever have any question, reach out to us at holidaycore.com/contact us.